Hi, I'm Ben Farias, and this is going to be my project on trilobites. So, trilobites, they're arthropods that lived on seafloors beginning around 522 million, 522 million years ago. It's usually considered at the beginning of like the Cambrian period, and they lasted all the way up until the Permian period, or at least one taxon did. One taxon made it all the way up to the Permian period, but most of them kind of slowly started becoming extinct around the Ordovician period. So they've been around for a while, but unlike other arthropods, they didn't really make it past. They didn't really make it past the Permian period. They were just the first trilobite fossils were discovered by this man named Reverend Edward Lewid. I don't know how to say that, but this guy, he found them in South Wales, so that's in the United Kingdom. And he thought they were a fish when he first discovered them, but as more and more geologists began to discover trilobite fossils, they began to realize that they're not really fish. They look like they're more closely related to like lobsters, or it seems like they're arthropods. And since then we've seen 17,000 species discovered, all within like the past 200 years. The significance of these fossils, I mean, they're really important in geology as well because of how long they lasted and how many kinds of fossils of trilobites there are. In fact, they often help with a lot of ideas that involve like evolution or like mutations, and they are also even studied like as a way to see how old sediment was, because you can see with different species of trilobites and what area that they what period of time they originated from. You can see you can kind of make determinations of like how old certain sediments are, and this was famously done by Adam Sedgwick and Roderick Marchison, and they used trilobite fossils to identify different eras of sediments. Life for a trilobite was pretty simple. They lived on seafloors. Sometimes they lived in shallow waters, and sometimes they were found in pretty deep waters. And they thrived around the Paleozoic paleocontinents, and they were thought, because of their mouth structure, what they've been able to see through fossils, that they're either scavengers or predators. But there have also been some that get nutrients from smaller sediments. They take out nutrients from other sediments, so some were neither predators or scavengers. It just depended on the species. Well, like I said here, that method is called filter chamber feeding. They were able to extract food from edible materials from sediments that might have been growing on sediments, and evidence suggests that there might have been tons and tons of different species of trilobites living within a single habitat. Like you have one species and even another species of trilobite. So you could have many of those living in a single habitat as well. So you could have a whole trilobite community. They usually have like molds or casts, but there have been so many different kinds of trilobite fossils that have been discovered. In fact, they've even discovered like tracks and trails, but they've never been able to find the soft part of their anatomy. The only thing that ever remains from a trilobite is their exoskeleton. So the insides of their bodies usually don't make it past fossilization, or if they might have been even disintegrated before then. Who knows? So in a journal that I was reading, an example of just how many species of trilobites there was this species named oritocephalids that they were found in southern China and southern Siberia, and they found that these species showed evidence of like it's kind of a life cycle, because you can kind of see how they get smaller, or like how they start out small and they get bigger. This is all the same. This is all that one. What that one is. So these have been found in Greenland and Siberia, but mostly throughout China, and they're identifiable. They're identifiable by their small size, and their segment count kind of represents a shorter life as compared to some of its ancestors. So these guys didn't really live that long lives, and they also think that these must have evolved from a much larger species of trilobite that might have had like a trunk at the end of their tail or something like that. And so they're always these were this is kind of discovered in like 2021. So they're always finding new species, and they're always finding new facts about these creatures, and there's so many different kinds of species of them, and so many different new things you can learn. Like they have a life cycle, and they just grow little layers as they grow older, and soon they have a little like tusk at the end of their heads. So I mean, we're always learning more about these guys, and they're really fascinating guys, and really important to geology, and they're really important to the ideas of evolution. And if you want to learn more, you can just go on Google, and they got some cool pictures on there. And these are my references.